Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, joined this hour by the Rachel Cruz, and we are here to take your calls, America. The number is 888-825-5225. The number again is 888-825-5225. You call up, we'll talk about budgeting and debt and how to stop keeping up with the Joneses and what's going on with this housing market. We are here for you. And Rachel, today is a momentous day because we just released a brand new episode of our new podcast, Smart Money Happy Hour.
Do you like
we
that we
should
just
clink
did
the
that?
glasses right there.
We should. Here, George, do it.
Well, we don't have these.
This is what you'll hear at the intro of that
close.
Podcast. This is
Smart Money Happy Hour. Wow, that was a sad
it was not great.
one.
Not great. Not
That's all
great.
right.
It didn't really work. But, we tried.
You know what today's episode is, Rachel?
It is
Disney adults.
All about Disney adults.
Disney trauma and how they priced out the middle class. Those of you who have been to Disney lately, you know exactly what we're talking about. It's gotten very expensive. We have a shameless testimony from a real-life Disney adult on our team.
I know.
And
we pulled her in halfway through the recording.
I share my personal Disney trauma, which I unpacked live. It was almost like live therapy, Rachel. Thanks for being there with me.
It was really good. I'm glad I could ask the questions to get to the heart of the issue, George, for you.
You dug in.
No, but it's a fun podcast. If you haven't listened to it, make sure you do and subscribe, because we just bring real life things that are happening and how it involves your money. So we've enjoyed it.
That was the goal.
I know. And people have said that it is the show the Ramsey Network has been missing.
Wow.
I've seen that a few times.
That's very kind.
Yes. So
thanks
I'm not
to producer James for leaving that review. We appreciate him. No, we've loved seeing the reviews, and the people just want that casual conversation that feels like they're hanging out with friends. It's not stuffy. We're just having a good time. Very authentic.
Yep.
Probably the
Not
most
a lot
authentic
of editing.
version.
Not a lot of editing.
Almost too little editing. I kind of wish they'd edit out parts where I screwed up, but hey, that's part of the entertainment. Love it. All right, let's get to the phones. Amanda joins us up first in Charlotte, North Carolina. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon.
How's it going?
Pretty great. So I just have a question, looking for like some reassurance, or maybe not so much of reassurance, regarding purchasing a home next month. My husband is a regular listener of you guys, and he's recently pulled me in, and we've become like big fans together. And I'm like, well, maybe we just need to reach out and get their input, their take, if we're making the right decision on this.
So do you feel like financially this is unwise right now?
So I think, I haven't had any doubts or anything leading up to this until we started listening to y'all's podcast.
Our advice,
like,
and now you're like, oh
okay.
no.
Yeah, maybe we should revisit this.
Well, hit us with some numbers here.
So let me start by saying that this will be our second home. We sold our first house. It was 3 beds, 2 baths, for a good profit earlier this year in March, around in April. So we bought it in March 2020, great interest rate, for $305, and we sold it for $500 this past April.
Awesome.
So that was a pretty good return. Yes. The reason that we decided to sell is because we don't have children yet. We're in our early 20s, and we needed more space to grow into, especially since those 3 beds and from our initial house really turned one was taken away to become an office, because now we both, since COVID, work remotely. So we need office space. And then also our family, they all live like out of town. So whenever they visit, it's not going to be like, hey, I'm here for a few hours, see you, bye. It's going to be an overnight type of thing, So we wanted space for them to feel comfortable, to just grow into. So
you guys have debt?
From that, no, we don't. We don't have any debt.
And you're renting.
All my student loans are. Yes. So currently, yeah. So we've been renting since we sold back in April. The house that we're building should be finished next month. We have $225,000 in savings. Our take-home income after taxes is about $89.30, and we have good credit. We also invest each week in stocks. So I feel like we're pretty financially sound right now, but going into this house, we locked in our mortgage rate. Rates right now are crazy. when we first bought in 2020, we had like a 3%, first time home buyers, young. Now our mortgage rate is 5.125%. I know that we can refinance like next year, when the time comes, but that rate is higher.
What's the house cost?
Really
the
great
new one?
Comparatively. The house cost is $615,000.
Okay. And how much are you gonna put down of the $225,000?
So we've already put down $34,000 earlier this year, and we're planning to put down an additional $180,000 from savings. And our monthly payment would be total, not just principal, but total would be $2,635.
And that's on a 30-year or 15?
30.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're asking us for advice. It seems like this train has left the station.
Has it? I'm not sure.
You can't back out now.
I just want to make sure. Yeah.
Well, contractually, are you able to?
Is that,
yeah. What's stressing you out, Amanda?
So
Amanda,
we're okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's making you question everything?
Because this is such a large amount of money that we currently have in savings, and with the world is just crazy. And I just want to make sure that this is a good investment into the home, or if we should. And I know the debt. Not the debt, but isn't there a ratio you guys use for your
yes, and I crunched the numbers for you. It's about 30% of your take-home pay, but that's on a 30-year. If it was on a 15-year, which is the only mortgage we'd ever recommend, it would be much higher. So it is a lot of your take-home pay. Hopefully your incomes go up. Yeah. You're also not on fire. Yeah. This is not going to tank you guys. It's just going to be hard to have margin to do other things like invest 15% of your income into retirement and save for college and pay off the house early. And so far, a lot of your discussion has been emotionally charged, and there's not enough room, but we don't have kids yet. But when we do, and the parents are coming, they can't get a hotel. We got a house. It's just been a lot of just emotional chaos instead of logical.
It has.
So that's my biggest pushback is not you didn't need a house. It was just the reasons you jumped into this.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So go on.
Well, and Amanda, where you guys are at, we had a call yesterday that similar thing. They were building, interest rate got too crazy. Now they can't afford the house. I mean, it's this whole thing. So the numbers are kind of tight. I mean, for you guys, for what we would normally say, this is a smart move. You're a little bit above that. I would still keep I would put 6 months in your emergency fund out of that $225, keep 6 months aside just to give you some more peace of mind. Hopefully your incomes will come up to meet this. But also, Amanda, at the end of the day, yes, your home is a huge financial investment. It's a huge purchase. But if you guys get a year into this and you're like, God, we got to get out, you can always sell it. I mean, it's not ideal, but you're not attached to everything in life. And so maybe it's even got equity since you guys have been building. But your reasonings why to do it, but hey, you can enjoy it.
That's true. Well, the house is not on fire and it's not done being built yet. So keep saving and try to pay this thing off as quickly as possible. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
George Camel, joined by Rachel Cruz this hour. This is The Ramsey Show. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. Well, I feel like right now is the time of year when it's make or break when it comes to our goals. We had a reset when school started again, but we're headed into a holiday season. And let's be real, it gets hard to stay motivated. And we all have goals, whether it's to find a better job, make more money, pay off some debt, build stronger relationships, and it can be hard to keep that momentum going. But here's the good news. Coming up in a couple of weeks, we have one of our biggest events, Smart Conference. We're headed to Dallas, Texas for a day-long jam-packed event where you're going to get advice from leading experts on money, personal growth, career, mental health, and your marriage. You're going to leave with all the knowledge and motivation you need to reach your goals and live the life you want. People come from all over the country to join us for this event. So join me and the rest of the Ramsey personalities, Dave Ramsey, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, Christina Ellis, Rachel Cruz, and get a plan for your money, your relationships, your career, and yourself, your personal growth. So join us live in person October 22nd. Get your passes before they sell out at RamseySolutions.com/events. Cody joins us up next in Atlanta, Georgia. Cody, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. How can we help?
Hey, I'm trying to find out whether or not I need to pretty much sell my car.
Okay.
I played the credit card game pretty stupidly, racked up, good chunk, have paid it all off, have about $8,000 in cash left, have another in total between me and my wife, $7,000 in student loans, and combined we make about 80. And we just had a kid about 4 months ago.
Congrats.
And we owe, thank you. We owe about $25,000 on a brand new 2022.
Wow.
What car is it?
Chevy Equinox.
Okay. And what's your total debt? All I heard was the student loans in there.
Nothing. We don't own a house. The car is our only debt. That's
Oh,
it.
the car is
That's
the
all
only
we have
debt.
left.
Okay, you had mentioned student loans, but I guess you said you paid that off?
No, we have $7,000 in student loans. We paid off all the credit cards.
Okay,
The credit
let's
cards
just
are paid
quick
off.
definition of debt. Owing anything to anyone for any reason. Is there any other debt you want to tell us about?
I think he
Cody?
said it. I think he said 7,000 in student loans.
Yeah, but then I said, is that it? And he said, it's just the car. That's the only
I'm
debt.
sticking up for you, Cody.
Okay, Cody. I'm just trying to get my ducks in a row here. So we got $7,000 in student loans, $25,000 on the car, and you're wondering if you should sell the car to get out of all of this debt.
I feel like I'm asking a stupid question.
No, there's
you're
no
not.
stupid questions.
No, you're not
I
at
want to get my
all.
details straight so we can help you.
Yeah, so
What's the car worth?
Pretty much the loan, trade-in value. What I owe on the loan is what it's worth now.
Okay, so it's equal. It's worth 25, you owe 25.
Correct. It would be a wash for me. I'm just wondering, especially in today's market, especially since we have, besides the student loans, we have no other debt. But we also want to save up for a house. So it's kind of like, okay, what do we do? And especially we've even thought about selling a car and not having a car. We both work from home. We're like, if there's an emergency, call 911.
No, Cody. You'll have a
So this
kid
is your
now.
only car?
Yes.
Oh,
Correct.
yeah. No, we
Okay.
need a car.
I would, yeah. I'm gonna put a car up there with like at least one.
Now you have $8,000 in the bank, you said, right?
So
Correct.
So
Okay.
for me, Cody, the rule of thumb always is if you can't pay off your car in 18 to 24 months, you need to sell it. Do you think you guys can pay off $25,000 in debt in a year to year and a half?
We probably could, but we want to do it sooner.
Okay, so that's my question. So you could keep the car,
Yes.
and you guys could pay it off. Total 2 years would be the most, but maybe if you could do it in a year, year and a half. But if you don't want to go through the pain of all of that, yeah, you have an asset right there that you can trade in, take some of the savings. You guys would get a beater. It would not be a great car, but you're talking about selling the car anyway, so I don't think you're too concerned with it. And then throw some money at the student loan, get that paid off, then save back up to pay for a car. So all of that would be the route you would go versus just decreasing your lifestyle dramatically to pay it off. But you're going to be decreasing your lifestyle anyways, Cody, to get some money to get that beater and to pay off your student loans, and then to save up for another car if you want to replace the beater. So
Yeah.
So to recap, Cody, what would we do today if you decide I'm going to sell this car? Sell the car for $25,000, the loan's gone. Now take maybe $7,000 of the $8,000 you have in the bank, go get yourself a reliable used car, and then you're at baby step 2, paying off those $7,000 in student loans, and you can do that much more quickly, right? We're talking a few months.
Correct. Yeah.
So it speeds up the process by a year and a half.
Maybe.
Yep.
Which I think excites you more at this point, which is great.
Yeah, well, especially because we don't have a ton in retirement or 401k, which
Yep.
we're in almost our 30s, kind of scares us a little.
Well, you got time, man. You guys are still young. You got this. So I think you know what to do. Anytime someone's willing to sell the car,
I know.
I'm like, all right, that's a hard emotional place to get to. And if it speeds up the journey, because the journey's tough, 2 years of really sacrificing versus
For a car, yeah.
a car is a reversible decision in some points because you can just get rid of it. I can't sell my student loans. I can't sell the piece of paper and get money back. So that is the nice thing about that. But we're wishing you the best, Cody. Mike joins us up next in Hartford, Connecticut. Mike, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Sure. How can we help today?
So basically, I'm in a little bit of a different situation than I usually hear on here, but I'm 28 years old. I make plenty of money. I save probably 40+% of my income every month.
Wow.
But what I'm trying to figure out is when can I stop working? I mean, even if I had to get a part-time job or whatever, when do I have enough to retire? I mean, I do the math, and it's like I'll be like 50, I'll be 55 before I can actually walk away.
Well, it depends on your lifestyle, of course, and so it just depends on how much do you need to live on per year, and then we can back that out and say how much do we need to have in our nest egg in order to withdraw that much per year and not run out. So do you have those numbers?
I could probably have everything paid off, and I could probably comfortably live on, say, $60,000 a year.
60?
I could probably have everything paid off in the next, 10 years or so.
House and everything? Do you have any other debt?
I have a house, I have a car, and those are my two pieces of debt.
Okay. Well, one thing is our plan teaches to do 15% of your income into retirement once you have all your debt paid off and your emergency fund. And it sounds like right now you're going all in on investing.
Yeah.
Instead of the debt payoff.
So you're saying, other than maybe my 401k, you're saying instead of investing at all, pay off that house as quickly as possible?
Exactly.
Up to 15%, Mike. So we'd say even pause everything, pay off the car. All your consumer debt needs to be gone. Save up some cash on the side, which you've done for about 3 to 6 months of expenses, and then save 15% of your income into retirement. And then there's the whole FIRE movement, George, about retiring early and all of that. And so, retirement, we always say it's a number, it's not an age. And so you may get to a point, Mike, that you're like, man, I'm going to keep investing 40% of my income or something. After my house is paid off, you want to pay off the house, and then maybe you go crazy and invest a ton, and you can retire early, depending on if the numbers work out. I just know from age 28 to age 58, your standard of living is probably going to look different. So you probably have 60 in your head, but between now and then, life's probably going to happen. Maybe you'll get married, maybe you have kids, you got to pay for college. I mean, stuff just happens. And so the whole FIRE movement of that whole, retiring early it's cool because it's like, hey, let's just save a ton, not live a lot on our lifestyle so that we can quit work and we can enjoy life and all that. So there's a great motivators for that. And I think it's a really cool idea. I also just think that things change so much during that time. So I wouldn't rush into it, but I would have, from how you're talking, Mike, I feel like you would be able to retire early, but running the numbers to know what you're going to live off of, but knowing that that's probably going to change too.
That intentionality at 28 will get you there. And we have a great calculator. Go to RamseySolutions.com, click on free tools, check out our retirement calculator. You can plug in all your numbers and figure out exactly when you can have that dream retirement. It may look like $1.5 million. And so now we can reverse engineer it and go, all right, how soon can we get there in that nest egg? But it all involves getting out of debt and staying out of debt. Thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined today by Rachel Cruz. We are co-hosts of The Ramsey Show, but also co-hosts of the newest show on the Ramsey Network, Smart Money Happy Hour. Be sure to check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. It's a fun, casual conversation about money, pop culture, entertainment. There's a lot of laughter, a lot of stories that you would never hear on a show like this. This is a family show here on The Ramsey Show. Things go off the rails in Smart Money Happy Hour. It's a good time.
It is fun. It's enjoyable.
So check that out. So, Rachel, we hear a lot in social media about this passive income.
Yes.
The kids have heard about this now.
Buzzword.
They're clamoring for this passive income where you just wake up and money shows up in your bank account.
And it's just there.
It sounds great, really.
It does sound wonderful.
But we know that passive income, especially when it comes to real estate, because that's one of the most touted some of the most touted advice on social media is the best passive income is real estate. And we love real estate around here when done the right way.
Yeah.
Not this nothing down real estate and just get whoever you can in the door and start collecting checks. It's never that simple.
Nope.
And our friend Graham Stephan, who has been on the show recently, one of the biggest personal finance YouTubers out there, he's big into real estate. That's how he made his millions. He's a super young guy, maybe a year or two younger than us, and he posted a video on his YouTube channel titled, "My Tenant Just Trashed My House." And we've got a video of what the inside of that house looks like. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can peruse that, but we'll give you the play-by-play. It's not pretty. It looks like a college dorm room tenant.
Oh, look at that.
Just crap
Gross.
Everywhere. Kitchen's destroyed. He's walking through, pointing everything out.
And so these people just moved out? Is that what the
I hope to God they don't live there anymore. I'm guessing they were
Look
evicted.
at all of that stuff in the closet. Oh.
It looks like a hoarder nightmare situation.
I'm wondering if they moved out and then they left all of this in the rental and they're like, see ya.
It's so gross.
That's what happened, James is saying.
James is agreeing.
Oh, man.
That's
a lot of work.
The dark reality of
Trash
passive
bags
income.
Everywhere. Stuff all in every cabinet.
Oh, poor
in
Graham.
every drawer. Oh.
You know what's extra sad? This was a long-term tenant of his. 10 years, he never raised the rent because they were such a good tenant up until they apparently weren't.
Well, until they left/didn't because they left all their crap behind.
The nightmare just continues. Just stuff everywhere. I mean, the amount of he's going to need a cleanup crew just to deal with this mess.
Yes. Well, you take the security deposit if you ever got one 10 years ago.
That's for sure. That will start to cover it.
Keep that.
Whew. So the advice around real estate investing sounds insane, and it's pay cash for your investment properties because you're not factoring in risk.
Yep.
And the hope is I'm going to put nothing down and I'm going to charge them more rent than the mortgage is worth. I'm going to take the spread and I'm going to make $5,000 a year, $10,000 a year, right? That's usually the margins when people call into the show. And
After
they've
done everything, yeah.
After all of their expenses,
yes.
You're not making a full-time income from one property.
That's right. So, so starting off small. And, obviously this market looks a whole lot different. And it's hard to get a good deal. But mostly for me, buying real estate, when you go into invest into it, the money's made at the sale. Like when you buy a property, that's where the equity should be. You should be able to get
got a deal on that.
such a good deal.
You didn't pay market rate.
No, so you already have
MSRP.
automatic equity. And start small. And again, I know this was in a different world, but even for Winston and myself, my husband and I, when we bought a condo, it was in short sale in Nashville over in Nippers Corner area, if you know where that is, the Old Hickory Boulevard and I don't know, but you Nashville people will know. And yeah, we bought it in short sale. And I mean, it was a few tens of thousands of dollars back then. It wasn't a lot, and it was kind of it was nasty. So we had to go in and kind of fix it up, and we rented it and kept it for about 8 years, and got so much equity and ended up selling it to help pay for the house that we built. And it was a great experience. Mostly because we paid cash. We got a deal on the sale. We didn't go big, right? It was just a condo, but it was in a growing part of Nashville. It wasn't really in a hot area, but it was in a growing area. And then we were able to use that asset later for our primary residence when we wanted to build, and helped use that to fund it. So all that to say, it can be done well if you start small. It doesn't have to be big and grand. And right now is probably not the market to find a great deal.
No.
There might be some foreclosures and short sales coming up, but as of now, like it's probably not a great market to get a great deal.
Yeah, and a lot of people are looking into what's called house hacking, which is not really a hack. You just buy a house and then someone else lives there too, and they help cover the mortgage. So it's not a new concept. And you've seen a lot of people want to buy duplexes and triplexes
and
to
live in one,
and rent the others out. But guess what? You're not the first one to think of that. And so they're actually in really high demand, which means people are going to be willing to pay more than you are to get that property, which means you're not getting a deal. So it's always, it sounds better in theory and on paper than it is in reality. And you're not thinking about, well, what if the HVAC goes out? And also, I have an HVAC too I've got to worry about. So you better have, that house has to have its own emergency fund to cover those repairs. And you better have good landlord insurance to cover more than just the property. There's a lot of risk involved that can help cover. And on top of that, you can't guarantee there's going to be a renter.
No.
And you can't guarantee they're going to pay and take care of your property. And we saw this with COVID. There's a moratorium on evictions.
Yep.
So you could just not pay your rent and the landlord can't do anything about it.
Yes. So yeah, there's, again, we love real estate when it comes to investing. I think it's a really smart thing. I think when you're to the point that you're diversifying more than just retirement accounts, I think it's great. I mean, because it goes up in value. It is a great investment, but it's just you want to move a whole lot slower, 10 times slower than what the culture is saying right now. The culture's like, get in, it's not a big deal. And then if you have your primary mortgage and now this mortgage, and then someone doesn't pay, and then the HOA comes in. I mean, it can be a disaster, and it's a part-time job. I mean, when you have tenants, like, you're at their beck and call if something happens as the landlord. And so you just have to know all of that going in. So it's a lot of work and a lot of dedication. It's worth it if you do it the right way. But that's the problem, is it seems like everyone's fast tracking it, and you're adding risk when you go into debt for it.
And even paying a cut to a property management company, it's still not passive. There's still work to be done. There's still a lot of communication back and forth, and you got to keep your eye on these properties. I've got family friends that didn't do their due diligence when screening tenants, and they didn't have a bank account, and they stopped paying rent, and then they can't evict them, and then they've set up drug rooms in there. You just don't know what these tenants are doing. It's a true story, Rachel. That's all I can disclose at this time.
No.
But Graham's video is about 10 minutes long, but we just wanted to play you his quick takeaway at the end of this horrific situation. Let's see that clip.
I gotta say, even with a management company, owning a rental property is not truly passive income, and it requires a consistent amount of work if you're expected to be successful at it.
There you go. That sums it up.
In the nutshell.
That sums it up. Thank you so much, Graham, and congrats on all the success he's had in the real estate world.
Not with your current house, though.
But not with this
sorry
one.
about that.
Even when you think they're a great tenant, and we want to believe the best of people, as landlords.
There's great tenants out there. I mean, we tell you people, everyone listening, like, rent if you have debt and all that. So I think renting is great, and there are great tenants out there. But
no one treats it as well as you are. You would, it's not their house.
For sure. It's just
they don't live there.
Like a rental car. When we travel and we get a rental car,
yeah.
you just can, I don't know, rental cars, you kind of just...
Rachel just throwing wrappers in the back.
You just drive it like you wouldn't drive your own.
And your minivan has no goldfish on the floor. You keep that thing clean.
Spick and span.
Wow.
Spick and span.
Well, there you go. If you want to get into real estate, by the way, this is the time and place to do it. You got to be completely debt-free. home and everything, and then save up cash and buy that investment property. And I know you're like, George, that's it may be a 10-year journey. But guess what? Your risk is so minimal comparatively to having a giant mortgage, and you've got to make that payment every month to that mortgage lender, whether or not your tenant pays you or not. So that's a scary situation to be in. So do this wisely, and don't just blindly follow some guy on TikTok who's doing the Burr method, and we're just going to buy with nothing down, and then we're going to refinance it, do the cash out, and put that on the next one. It sounds so fancy, and in reality, it's how a lot of people go broke and stay broke. So don't do this stuff. Do it the slow way. Be a crock pot in a world full of microwaves. Because it only takes 1 extra second in that microwave, Rachel, for that popcorn to burn. And everyone thinks, my popcorn's not going to burn. No.
Mine's good to go. Never know.
Don't do it. Crock pot it. Rachel did it this week with chili. Turned out great, didn't it?
So good.
There you
All
go,
day.
America. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership Podcast, joined by Rachel Cruz, host of The Rachel Cruz Show. And we are both co-hosts of this show and Smart Money Happy Hour. And we're excited to take your calls. 888-825-5225. Valerie joins us up next in San Antonio. Valerie, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how can we help today?
Hey, I just have I'm hoping a quick question. Me and my husband have about 6 student loans, and when we did an IDR repayment, it gave us a 0 payment because of our family size to our income. And this was before the, forbearance. So I'm just wondering, we have them in order from lowest to largest, but we also have a car payment beyond those. And since if we're paying on them, we're not gaining any traction, I'm just wondering, do we still keep that going even though we're not gaining any momentum? Because there's no minimum payment.
Well, the problem with these programs is that they are not a blessing. Just because it's $0 doesn't mean that interest isn't causing that to balloon. And so if I'm you, I'm getting out of this program so that I can put as much on these loans as I can. Can you get out?
Okay. Yeah, we can, and it's not a problem to do that. I just wanted to make sure that was the right thing to do, per se.
Yeah, honestly, from what I've found looking into this, you're talking about income-based repayment programs for those listening, and it sounds great in theory because it's based on your income. But the problem is you're not even touching the principal. You're just scraping by trying to get the interest. And what happens is that $60,000 loan becomes an $80,000 loan. And now we're going, how am I going to ever get out of this thing?
How much do you guys make, Valerie?
It's like right over 100.
Okay. And you have 6 student loans total, you said.
Right.
Yes.
And at the time that we had done the IDR, we weren't making that. But like our family size grew, and also our income has grown, which has been a blessing, but we haven't really made any progress on the student loans since then, and we've been paying everything else off. And so now we're at the point to start the student loans. Those are the next in the snowball. But I didn't know, since it shows our payment is 0, do we still go ahead and attack that first?
Yeah, I would say what George said. I would go ahead and just get out of that program so that you're making minimum payments on everything and you're at least staying current. And you're not letting, you're paying on the principal, and you're not letting, this interest just absolutely accrue. Like you're staying up to date with them. And then that way, when you get to each one, you've been paying all along, which is going to help the debt snowball go that much faster.
Okay, great. That's what I needed to know. Thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
You got
absolutely.
it. Thank you.
Thanks, Valerie.
Oh, yeah, that income-based repayment, it really grinds my gears, Rachel.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Well, and it sounds good. I mean, the idea behind it, I guess, is good. But then it ends up, with people, and it's like you're not even touching the interest. And some of them, they're not even touching the principal if you're doing what her example was. It's like, oh, man, it's going to be so much more in the end.
If you're in that, get out as soon as you can and attack this debt. It's not going anywhere, and it's only going to grow, and it's going to become more, unmanageable, and it's going to be scarier and scarier as that thing grows. Amy joins us up next in Atlanta. Amy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I just have a question really quick. I currently work for a private tech company. I have stock options that are fully vested but not exercised, and they're worth about $100,000 pre-tax.
Okay.
The company is currently in the process of creating an internal marketplace where the employees can buy and sell stock, but I'm considering a job change. So I'm not sure what I should do with my stock if I leave the company.
What do you want to do? Do you have an angle you're going, I'd like to do this?
Well, I'm thinking about selling all of it because I don't know. I won't be plugged into the company, so I won't know the health of the business if I leave. And if they go under, then I lose all of that money.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if they take off and go public, I might be losing out on millions
There's
of dollars.
always the what if. And I used to, when I was like 18,
Exactly.
I worked at the Apple store, and so I got the employee stock purchase program. And so I had some Apple stocks, and I sold a bunch to help my debt-free journey. And now looking back, you're like, what if I held on to those? And 15 years later, it would have been this. So there's always the what ifs. But I think about what's going to set me free tomorrow and set me up down the road. And hanging on to these, I don't think it's going to do that for you. So even if you weren't leaving the company, I would tell you to sell any vested stocks. Are you getting a discount? Is this an employee stock purchase program situation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, a deep discount.
So you take that discount and then you sell it and you make your profit and then you go invest that in something a lot less volatile to where you're not going to lose sleep as you watch the company go up and down and up and down.
Yeah, it's just putting all your eggs in one basket type mentality, Amy, versus we just love diversification. And so there's less risk because your money is spread around. And with company stock, it is so easy just to go one track. But then what's scary, obviously, is like the ultimate, right? Enron or something happens, and it's like, oh my gosh, all of that. So there's just not a lot of risk when you just do kind of, a boring mutual fund.
Yeah.
I'd say boring, but it's the truth. It may not be as exciting. But yeah, I would dissolve the stocks if I were you.
Do you have any financial goals? Do you have debt you want to pay off? Buy a house?
Oh, my goodness. Student loans for days.
How many student loans? What's
many
the number?
student loans.
What's the number on the student loans?
125.
Is that all of your debt?
No, my other debt's minimal. My truck's like $10,000, and I don't have much, and I don't have credit card debt. It's just the student loans.
So think about going from 135 down to 35 tomorrow. Now, obviously, you got to set aside money for taxes, so it's going to be, you're going to have more than that in loans, but that's going to set you up in an incredible way to get rid of all this debt.
It's $800 a month for my student loan payment, so that would be really nice to get rid of that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I would see this as a gift, Amy. I mean, it's awesome. It can help jumpstart this debt-free journey for you.
Absolutely.
That's exactly.
And don't
that's
look
what
back.
I was thinking. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, don't look back with regret, regardless of what this company does. And if it goes public and it goes zoom, you go, good for them. And I'm debt-free, and I'm happy too. There you go. Matthew joins us up next in Las Vegas. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. How are you guys?
We're doing great. How can we help today?
So I am 31 years old. I've been at my place of work for most of my adult life since I was 21. I work in healthcare out here in Las Vegas. I was recently offered a opportunity to pretty much almost double my income. A little bit of backstory is, why I've stayed at this company that I'm at for so long. It's 10 to 15 minutes away. I'm comfortable. This new opportunity would be almost, I want to say 45 minutes away. It is at a place that kind of cares about their employees more than where I'm at right now. My biggest concern is I'm afraid to make the jump because I've been at this place so long. And so I kind of feel like, if you want to use an analogy, like a lion that the cage door is wide open, but he's too afraid to walk out that cage door to see what's on the other side, just because I've been at this place so long.
Yeah.
So I'm calling you guys. I'm trying to get advice. I just had my first interview today. they made it seem that they're going to press forward in the hiring process. I should also add that I am newly married. My wife is very excited about this. But again, it is, a big commute, a new hospital setting. And so I guess I'm just afraid.
Yeah. And Matthew, let me validate that feeling though, because anytime we change anything in our lives, anything, and especially a job change, which is a big change that affects your entire day, it's going to feel scary, Matthew, like it is, because we are just, when we're comfortable in something, it's predictable. We know what's going to happen. And so that fear is very real and very valid. Now, do we let that be the motivator for how we make decisions? No. And this 45-minute commute, hey, listen to a few podcasts. You're not going 2 hours away. 45 minutes, double your income. It's a great work environment, better than the one currently. Matthew, do it.
Do it today, man.
Do it.
If you get the job, take it. And guess what? You can always move closer to work. It's amazing.
You're gonna make mistakes, Matthew, and that's okay too. Okay, learning curve. It's okay, but don't let that fear dictate your decision making.
That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from the Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to the Ramsey Show channel on YouTube. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where we have a conversation about your life and your money. So give us a call, 888-825-5225. I'm George Camel, joined this hour by Rachel Cruz, and we are taking your calls. If you need some confirmation, affirmation, motivation, we can help out with all of those things. There's a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in your life, and we just want to have an honest conversation and be that third party and give you some advice. Debbie is kicking us off in Orlando. Debbie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you. How can we help today?
Well, we've been toying with the idea of selling our house. I think we missed our opportunity a few months ago when everybody was buying out houses, but we've been talking about it even before everybody else was talking about it, because our house is too big for us. We're just the two of us now, my husband and I, and we have a 3,500 square foot home with 6 bedrooms. It's just the two of us. So we wanted to sell the house. But for another reason is the traffic is ungodly here in Orlando. And the other reason is I have no children or grandchildren anywhere near me. None of them are in the state of Florida, so I'm lonely down here.
Why would they do that to you, Debbie? Why would they do that to you? They took all your grandkids.
Sweet Debbie.
I know. They all have jobs everywhere, but they all are Ramsey people.
Good.
Oh, there you go.
Well, you're giving us some logical reasons here to sell. So what's the holdup?
Well, the problem is that I don't think we can afford to move because we only pay $1,500 a month for this house.
Because of the mortgage?
So,
What's the mortgage? What's left on it?
$225.
And what's the house worth?
$610.
Okay, so you're going to get out of this thing with plenty of equity.
Yeah, but I can't even find a $300,000 2-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Where are you wanting to move, Debbie? Are you wanting to stay in Orlando or just and just downsize?
Well, my husband wants to stay in Orlando. I'd like to live closer to the kids, but he doesn't want to make a choice between Alabama, Texas, and Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Quite the spread there, if we're going to be honest. All right.
But he told me if I got a job in one of those states, then we wouldn't have to choose between one of them. So I've been putting out applications in all 3 states.
Okay. Well, I would say, Debbie, a motivation to sell just because you guys feel like it's too big isn't necessarily, an urgent reason to sell. I understand if the upkeep is too much and you're like, oh man, but if you're running numbers and seeing, okay, what else could we get to be able to even pay cash, for something. Are you guys thinking even something as small as like getting like a townhome type thing, or are you wanting another just residence?
Well, we even thought about a townhome for a while, but my husband likes to play loud music. He's really into music. So a neighbor really that close might be difficult for him.
Party
the
on.
Kids were they always wanted to, I know.
Party at Debbie's
the kids
house.
were always, Dad, turn the music down.
Yeah. So if you can get 610, and you said you guys have looked for houses even like in the 300-400s.
Yeah.
And it's not great.
I haven't been looking for anything really any more than $350,000 because I would like to be debt free.
Sure. Yeah. How old are you guys?
66.
And how much do you guys make?
He's already retired, so he just lives on he just has his retirement, and I'm a nurse practitioner. So
Do you want to keep working?
How much do you make?
120.
That's nice. And do you want to retire soon?
I would love to retire, but I do like what I do, so I don't think as a nurse practitioner I'll ever truly, really retire. I might end up doing some ministry, but...
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, and you could go part-time, and you go, I like doing it, but not 60 hours a week, you know?
There you go. That's me.
So, yeah, and I'm doing the math here, and you'd have about $370, $380 maybe after fees, right, if you sold this house today.
But then I got to pay the realtor, too.
Well, that's what I mean. After your fees, maybe $360 after all the fees.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we go, what can we find for $360? And maybe it's a little further out, but you guys won't have to travel to work anymore. So location is not as much of an issue.
Yeah.
And Debbie, too.
I definitely want to get out of this area. It takes me 2 hours to get home from work.
Oh, gosh.
No, thank you.
I know.
Are you working with a good real estate agent right now?
We are. I don't think he's with the Ramsey group. He might be because he does teach it at his church, but he's a great Christian guy, and we really trust him.
Okay.
He actually sold us our house 15 years ago.
Well, I mean, is he looking for you right now and going, hey, here's our budget. We don't want to go over 360. Find us something that's a single-family home that's got at least 2 bedrooms.
No. That is my dilemma right there. If I sell, the realtors tell me, Debbie, what are you going to do if you sell the house? We'll be homeless because we don't have a plan.
Well, you get the plan first, and then you can match this up. I mean, once you're under contract, then we go ahead and list yours, and we know yours is going to sell. But we can start getting your house in shape to sell as well. So you don't have to put it on the market quite yet.
Right, but I can't afford to get something else right now either until we sell this house. So we're in a dilemma.
But you haven't done the homework to know exactly. This sounds like your emotion more than facts.
And you would do your contract based on the sale of your home too, Debbie. So all the funds would transfer.
It'd be contingent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which again would add a level in the clause of the person if they're up against you and then a cash offer that's overpriced with no contingencies. Then sure, they're probably going to pick a different buyer than you guys, possibly. So there's that.
But the beauty of the cooling market is that it's not as competitive as it was.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of fear.
You're able to do the. You're able to. To do the transfer of funds, though. I just want you to hear that, Debbie. Like yes, your house has to sell, but I'm confident that it will. And you guys just be smart about what you want to buy, your budget for what you want to buy. And then you guys, put your house on the market, again, contingent upon the sale of your home. And then once it all goes through, in a perfect world, obviously, that your house sells, and then the home that you guys are under contract for to buy in your budget, everything just flows right downstream, and it's great. But also, Debbie, too, there's no urgency. The main motivation for you guys is that it's just too much house, and you feel like we're not using it. 6 bedrooms, it's just us. Mm-hmm. So there's no rush to sell. But I would think
there isn't. And even the realtor told me, he said maybe we should go down a little bit and reduce the price a little bit. And I'm like, I'm not that motivated.
Yeah. So you're not in a problem that you need to sell right now. Yeah.
And that's a good thing. But also you've got to grapple with this fear you have of change and what if and what if and what if, and instead start to look at the facts with your realtor and go, all right, here's what we can do. Here's the house that we can buy with this much money so that we can retire next year instead of 7 years from now. And there's going to be some compromises with that, but you can do it at your own pace because you're not desperate.
I'm willing to compromise. That's why I'm talking to you guys.
We are the compromise.
What's your husband want to do, Debbie, real quick? Does he want to sell and get out?
My husband?
Yeah.
No, he loves his house.
He loves it. Okay. Well, you guys need to get on the same page first and foremost.
This
But
isn't.
he has to listen to me complain about the traffic all the time.
There we go.
That is true. That traffic would
Hey,
be
the squeaky
very
wheel
frustrating.
gets the grease,
And-
Debbie. You
yeah,
work them down.
And as a nurse practitioner, if you can switch facilities even in a different clinic or
we
hospital,
need a
wherever
lot
you're
of
at.
Debbies out there,
Yeah.
nurse practitioning. So thank you for what you do, Debbie. Appreciate it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
I'm George Campbell, joined by Rachel Cruz this hour. You're listening to The Ramsey Show. Give us a call and we'll talk about your life and your money. The number is 888-825-5225. Reba joins us up next in Amarillo. Reba, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, I'm a little nervous.
Don't be scared.
no.
It's just us, Reba.
We're not mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ken Coleman's not here. Dr. John Deloney's not here. Just the nice
Dave
people.
definitely isn't here.
Dave's for sure not here.
This is a super nice show today.
What's going on? Reba, are you still there? Did she pass out?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
No.
goodness gracious. I thought we lost you. Okay. How can we
No,
help
I
today?
was waiting for a question or something.
Oh, well, the question comes from you.
Oh.
How can we help?
Oh, the question. My husband is such a tightwad that we were supposed to go out with the congregation last night and break the feast for Yom Kippur, which is also called the Day of Atonement.
Yes.
For our belief. And when he showered and he got dressed. But then when it was time to go, I told him how much the meal was going to be, $9.99. Oh, he couldn't spend that much. So my question is, when is it okay to start having a little fun or spending a little money?
Reba, that's not your question. Your question is, how do I get my husband to stop being a tightwad?
Okay.
You know you can spend $9.99.
Yeah, well,
Are you guys?
'cause I did.
What's your situation, Reba? Give us how much debt do you have?
None.
How much do you have in savings?
None for me, but for him, I don't know if he'd want me to tell you, but he's got a little little wad.
Well, if he does, then you do, Reba. You both are married.
Do you have separate bank accounts?
No. Yes, I'm not allowed
Reba.
to be on his bank account.
Why?
No. Because he's a tightwad. I'm not allowed to do anything.
All right. So now we got
Time out,
the thing.
Reba.
Now we got it.
Reba works to support herself as a wife to Douglas.
Douglas and Reba.
Hold on. And you guys,
Man,
this is a
Reba.
married couple we're talking
How
to.
long have y'all been married, Reba?
We've been together for about 10 years, but only been married about 3.5, I believe it is.
Okay. So what is happening here is that you guys are not aligned. You're not working as a team. And what happens is even these small signs, of not having the same bank account, him not wanting to share with you, all of that, like what ends up happening is it ends up integrating into other parts of your marriage. And so it's big red flags in general that you guys could have a much more intimate, a much more dynamic, a much more deeper relationship if you guys trusted each other on all levels. And it doesn't sound like you do.
He doesn't. He had a bad ex, and I'm getting all the blame.
Okay.
Well, until he deals with this baggage, this marriage is going to continue to just be this weird, mediocre roommate situation. Would you agree?
Yeah, probably, because that's what it seems to be right now.
Yeah.
Can this old dog learn new tricks, Reba? Can we get him to go through Financial Peace University with you, to maybe get some counseling together?
I don't know.
Okay, you said
I tried to get him to go to counseling, and I haven't been successful yet.
Okay. What spiritual affiliation are you guys? You said the Day of Atonement, all of that is.
This is Messianic.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so I would get. Do you guys? Is it a rabbi you have or a pastor, Messianic Jew? I mean, I'm familiar with that, but who?
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Well, we have people in the congregation, couples that take turns doing a lesson. We don't actually have a rabbi up front.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, just getting with someone. I mean, you guys have a spiritual community. That's why I leaned that way first. But even just good, good marriage, counseling or therapy. Which, again, he's a adult, so he's going to decide if he wants to go or not. But I think one of the best things that you can do, Reba, though, is have a conversation with him and tell him how you're feeling and why you're feeling the ways you're feeling. And so just saying, like, I feel like we're not enjoying life. I feel like things are so separate, because they are when it comes to our money. And here's what I want. Like, here's the vision I want for our marriage. Here's what I long to be as your wife. Here's what I want as a husband. Here's what this looks like for me, and why I want that. I want stability. I want to be able to do this life together and be a team. When we took vows, what was it, 3.5 years ago, that this is what I'm looking for and what I really want from you. So tell me what you're hearing, and have this conversation back and forth. But I would really have a heart-to-heart, a serious conversation with him that's more than just the money, and more than just he won't spend $9.99 on a meal. This is going deeper. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I want that
feel that way.
Okay. Yep. So, I want this for you guys.
Thank you. I do too. But it's been a battle. It's been a long uphill battle.
I hear that.
Well, especially when there's, past trauma and exes, and this is how I grew up experiencing money, and now you're very tight-fisted with it because you don't want to get hurt again. And so that's where he seems to be coming from, which is understandable, but we can't keep living that way.
And you shouldn't pay the price for what had happened in the past either. Do you know what I mean? So
yes.
So I think you guys have some real heart-to-heart conversations coming up soon. And that's what I would encourage. And then if there's any way for him to love you as his wife and just say, as my husband, will you please sit down and watch this first video? We're going to send you Financial Peace University. So hang on the line. Reba and Austin will pick up. And you guys even just sit down and watch the first 1 or 2 videos together. That'll jumpstart you on the financial side. But if you can get him to get a third party involved, to sit down and just have some good marriage counseling, marriage therapy, I think is one of the best things ever, because they are able, a good therapist will be able to dig underneath the surface of all of this, ask you good questions. There's a lot of self-reflection and understanding why I'm doing the things I'm doing, and it's just healthy. So if you're able to do that, I think it's a real gift.
Absolutely. And if he's unwilling to watch 45 minutes of a lesson of Financial Peace University, then I think we need to take those more drastic measures and go, listen, I cannot continue like this being roommates. I signed up for this because I want to become one, to have this level of intimacy and relationship. And money is just a symptom of so much else going on there.
And Reba, don't say, oh my God, what was his name?
Douglas.
Don't say, Douglas, you're a cheapwad, and I think you need to watch this video, right? We don't go after it with insults or with sarcasm or anything. Truly, with your heart as his wife, being as honest and as vulnerable as you can be with him is a great place to start that conversation, because it can be easy to point fingers and nag and, be like, and roll the eyes.
It's one thing when you're, 21 and getting married and this is all new. It's another when you're older and you're in a different season of life and you have all this baggage that you never really dealt with, and now you're just hanging on to it all. That's a much harder thing to unpack. and because there's just decades and decades of this trauma that you haven't dealt with. I'm also going to throw in a copy of Own Your Past, Change Your Future, along with Financial Peace University. That's our friend Dr. John Deloney's book, and I think a lot of this has to do with his past. And until we deal with that, it's going to be hard to affect our future positively. So hang on the line, Reba, and we will make sure to gift you that book. John was just in the control room. We should have just had him jump in here.
I know, right?
On the phone with Reba for fun.
And here's what's fascinating always about this show and this topic, George, of money is money problems are never money problems. It's never what ends up happening, right? We think that, it's an issue here and he won't spend the money. But under a lot of money problems is life stuff happening. And getting to the root system is so important because money just magnifies, right, who we are. It amplifies who we are. And that's what it does. And so you got to figure out at the root of who am I and what is this amplifying. And so it's important work to do.
Yeah. We can't just look at the external surface issues.
Yep.
There's always something bubbling underneath, and we got to deal with that. But it's so worth it. And we hear this with Debt-Free Screams on the stage. We try to get our money right, and all of a sudden, our marriage improved.
Yep.
And there's a direct correlation there because you have to deal with things like communication and values and how we operate when it comes to money. So do this stuff. It's so worth it. We're cheering you on, Reba. This is The Ramsey Show.
I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
I'm George Camel, joined by Rachel Cruz this hour. This is The Ramsey Show. You can give us a call at 888-825-5225. Justin joins us up next in Charleston, West Virginia. Justin, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
A little nervous, but not so bad.
You'll be all right, buddy. What's going on?
So my wife and I got married 5 days ago.
Whoa. Congrats.
Congrats.
Are you calling us from the honeymoon?
No, after.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Where'd you go?
Well, not the full honeymoon. We took a little trip up to Cincinnati for a few days. We went to the zoo, saw a couple sites, had some barbecue. It was a good trip.
Nice. How can we help today?
On the way back, we were talking about how we want to structure the marriage. We talked about money, talked about time with kids, stuff like that. And I'm not very good with money, so I figured I would call and see if you guys had any advice about a good path to set out on so I could build a good future for me and my family.
I'm proud of you, man. Thanks for the call.
It's a great question.
So do you guys have kids?
She has a son. He's my stepson. He's 3 years old. And we have a little girl on the way. She'll be here in January.
Oh,
Sweet.
Congratulations.
Okay, so you want to start this marriage off on the right foot. Where's her head at when it comes to money?
We're pretty well aligned, especially now that she's pregnant, and we're married. We're looking to save, pay off our debt, and I'm a little scared by all of it. It's a little intimidating.
Sure. Well, the good news is our plan is real simple, and you do things one step at a time. So we're not going to overwhelm you with 17 different things to do. We just want to set you off in the right direction. And we are also going to gift you guys Financial Peace University. 1 year of that, so you can watch through all 9 lessons together, get on an every dollar budget, and start making a plan for your money and feeling that progress. So how much debt do you guys have collectively?
We have just over $20,000 in debt.
What kind of debt?
50% of that is in medical and student loans, and the other half is in 2 vehicles.
Okay. Cool. And how much money do you guys have in the bank?
We have just over $3,000 in the bank right now.
All right. And what's your household income? Are both of you working outside the home?
I'm working full-time and she's working part-time. I make $914 every 2 weeks. I don't really know what that translates to in a year. And she makes about $600 every 2 weeks.
Okay. So, well, our A1, you already have baby step 1 done, which is to save $1,000 in a starter emergency fund. And so now we're going to be tackling this $20,000 of debt.
Awesome. Do I need to do anything differently since the baby's coming? Should I have more money put away?
We do want you to kind of pause the intensity on the debt payoff and save up until baby and mom are home and they're safe and healthy. But as soon as that's done, you can still stockpile cash until then, and hopefully you don't need to touch much of it, and you can use that towards the debt.
Yeah, Justin, will she be going on maternity leave at the beginning of the year, I'm assuming?
Yes, she's going to get, I believe, 16 to 20 weeks.
Okay. Is that paid or not paid?
The first 12 is paid.
Okay. That's great. Yeah. So yeah, if I were you guys, just in the very first, there's kind of like the tactical approach, if you will, and then more just the philosophical approach. So these are tactical things we're talking about, right? So when you guys pick up with Austin after this call, I want you to get the videos and to do your first budget. You guys sit down, do your budget together. It's going to help your income go so much further. It's going to take a lot of these questions that you have, I think, out of your head, because you're going to know exactly where every dollar's going. You're going to feel in control, maybe for the first time ever. And that budget really is your roadmap month to month. And you guys are going to be able to look at those numbers and say, okay, between now and January, we are going to stockpile money. Any extra money that we have, we're going to cut some expenses, do what we can to get as much money as possible in the bank. And then, like George said, once baby and mom come home, everything's good, press play on that, and then start paying off your smallest debt first. So you said half is in medical and student loans, the other half are in 2 cars. Split those in 4 debts, list those 4 smallest to largest, and you guys start working on that smallest one. And two, Justin, I would say that we find that the people that get out of debt the fastest are the ones that sacrifice. So that's sacrificing lifestyle. That's you possibly taking on an extra job while she's home with the baby. Maybe you're working, a few extra nights. I mean, doing what you can to pay this off as much as possible and as fast as possible. Because when you guys don't have payments, there's an amazing thing that happens. The amount of stress when you don't owe anyone anything, you can really feel that. And I think it helps you relationally too in your marriage. There's not this this stress point that debt brings. And so that freedom is something I would work towards. So that's kind of the tactical side. But I would also sit down and you guys, it sounds really cheesy, Justin, but my husband and I, we do it almost every year, and intentional. We call it just like a dream date night. So we go out to dinner, we leave the kids with the babysitter, we go enjoy a nice meal somewhere. And we just dream. And we're like, okay, what is the next 5 years going to look like? How old are our kids going to be? Like, we map out our ages, where everyone's going to be in school, and be like, okay, what would be the dream? Like, what would be the dream? And out of the last dream meeting, we're like, we would love a pool one day. We would love a pool. And so we're like, okay, should that be one of the things we start saving for in the next 5 to 6 years? Like, do we want to put in a pool one day? It's like, it's these things that you just start looking at and you think, okay, do we want to take a vacation once a year with the kids to the beach? Like, whatever the thing is that you guys want out of life and want to be able to do with money eventually, like, talk about it and just have fun with it. It doesn't have to be this stressful, gosh, I'm not good at it, she's not good at it. Stop using that language. You guys just have a few date nights where you just dream. And then out of that, Justin, are going to come a couple of things. Your value systems are going to come out of that to say, okay, what do we value as a family? Goals are going to come out of that to say, man, a goal could be, whatever you fill in the blank, Justin, for what you guys want out of, the next few years of life. Maybe for you guys, a big goal will be to get out of debt. The next goal will be to get an emergency fund. After that, in 10 years, what could a goal be? Have these things that you're shooting for, because that helps the motivation too when it comes to money, that when you're making the sacrifices, you're working towards something, and you guys working as a team in that is huge. I would also talk about your fears. Like what is the fear that you have when you say, like, I'm just not good with money, I just feel intimidated? Like, share that with her and be like, here's where I'm at. Like, it feels overwhelming to me. I'm fearful I'm going to fail at this. I don't want to end up like my parents, like whatever the thing is. Like, talk about the fear, let her do the same. Women's number one financial fear is the lack of security. So she may say, oh my gosh, like, I just want to make sure we're going to be okay. I have the new baby's coming. Like, let her say those things out loud. Like, you guys, when you share in all of that emotion, it's more than just money. This was the last call we were even talking to last segment. Like, those conversations are that is life conversation that happens to be through the avenue and the lens of money.
Oh yeah.
But you guys are just deepening your relationship even in those conversations. So that's what's fun about money, is there's a tactical side that you guys can have numbers to, and you're doing a budget and you have a numbers goal that you're working towards. But there's also like that philosophical side of, where do we want to be generous with our money? What do we want for our kids? What do we, that kind of dreaming, goal setting side as well, which I think brings couples together. And when you work together, it goes that much faster, and it's that much more fun. It's that much more fun to do the journey together.
Great wisdom there from Rachel. So Justin, how old are you two?
We are both 23 years old.
Okay. What are you doing for work?
I'm actually an EMT. And she is working at Walmart.
Cool. Because I noticed, just doing the math, I feel like getting your income up would really help. Because looking at, was that take-home pay numbers you were giving me, or was that gross pay?
That's take-home pay.
Okay. Because yours adds up to about 23, hers adds up to about 15. So if we can get your take-home pay up to relieve her, because she's going to, have this baby, I don't know what childcare is going to look like and work is going to look like, but if you can bust it and start to make 30, 35, 40 take-home pay, and maybe that means switching career paths completely, getting some education, that's going to help, because your greatest wealth-building tool is your income.
Okay, buddy.
We're cheering you on, man. We're going to send you Financial Peace University, and I'm also going to get you Ken Coleman's book, From Paycheck to Purpose. That's going to really help you start dreaming about what that career could look like, because, man, it changes the game when you can get that shovel up and you can start digging out of this hole a whole lot faster, my man.
You got it, Justin. We're excited for you.
This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Rachel Cruz. This is The Ramsey Show. Well, Rachel, it's been an exciting week. I'm honored to be a part of one of your newest product lines.
Thank you, George. I'm going to hand you this box right here.
Oh, I get to be a part of this.
We have 3 boxes in front of us because this week, yes, we launched the new Rachel Cruz Slim Wallet. So we have the Rachel Cruz envelope system that it has built-in envelopes. So when you're budgeting early on, you can cash out categories that you tend to overspend, and it's a great wallet for that. Now, once you've moved past the envelope system, you use your debit card mostly. I just like the convenience of having still one envelope to have cash in, but a place to put all my cards. And people on social media are like, that's a lot of card slots for people that don't use credit cards. No, there is Costco cards.
Sure.
There are other debit cards. There are gift cards, your insurance card, your license. There are other cards in the world besides credit cards.
I wish if you put a credit card in here, it would like pop back out. Like it would not allow it.
That would be actually very
cool
funny.
Technology.
Yeah, so it holds
beautiful.
So it's just a slim wallet, holds your cards, one area for one cash envelope. And yeah, it just makes budgeting still easy and And as a lady, it's just convenience. So you ladies know if you're switching purses all the time, it's helpful.
I feel like my wife has to buy a new purse every week. I'm like, don't you have? She's like, well, this is a different one because I need one that's smaller because this one's too big.
And I need the strap on this one. I know it's a thing. It's
very
a thing.
stressful.
So these wallets
but
are
three colors:
black, champagne, which is like a
and
metallic gold, and a camel.
Named after me.
For George.
You messed up the spelling though. You called it with a C.
I know. I'm
on
sorry.
the website. We'll have to fix that.
It's terrible.
And I got really excited because I opened mine up and it had like $100 bills in it.
I know.
And then I realized this is fake prop money.
Fake money.
So if you order one of these, you will not find money, fake or real, in there.
Sorry.
You can put your own money in though because you follow our plan.
That's right.
Very
so
cool.
These are real leather. They're beautiful. It smells great. And we partnered with our friends at Join. That is a company out of India. And they hire people in all the vulnerable communities of India to give them trade and give them work. It's a really it's a
cool
beautiful
mission.
thing. So I'm so thankful that we get to partner with them. So go to RamseySolutions.com and get your Rachel Cruz Slim Wallet available today for $39. Again, 3 different colors. And, we're just making tools for your money. We're just helping the whole process out.
I love it. Well, having something beautiful that can remind you about your journey. You see RC on there, you're like, that's right.
Yeah,
I'm not going to make a bad spending decision because Rachel wants me to win with money.
That's right.
I love it. Well, congratulations.
Thank
Fun
you,
week.
George.
All right. Open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. Scott is joining us all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. Scott, welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon. It's nice talking to you both.
You as well.
Yeah, thanks. So I've got a real mess on my hands. Before Friday of last week, life seemed pretty peachy, and after Friday, it got messy. I've got basically a home invasion, a burglary in my primary residence, and I can wrap my head around the things that were stolen, the material things, the high-value things, but I'm having a really difficult time wrapping my head around the sophistication of the thieves, the breaking into, home safes and stealing all of our personal documents, including passports, ID cards, my son, and our birth certificates, bank statements, sort of all of that. And I'm just curious. I really value your advice, and I'm curious if there's anything proactively other than reaching out to my bank and whatnot that I can do to prevent any future, and I'm sure it's coming, but any kind of identity theft that will manifest itself.
I'm so sorry to hear about that, Scott.
Sorry,
that is,
Scott.
I mean, on top of just frustrating and heartbreaking, it's scary. I mean, you can't feel safe in your own home.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of emotional baggage, but it's kind of being proactive and thinking about, how we can get in front of this other than, we have insurance, we can cover the material things, but it's that.
Do you guys have identity theft insurance by chance?
So, no, in that regard, but I do monitor the bureaus pretty frequently and check scores and things like that. So I don't know if that's equivalent, probably not.
Well, have you put a fraud alert on all of your credit accounts?
Yes, we've done that piece.
Okay.
And
you've put a freeze on them as well?
Yes, we put a freeze on everything. We have new cards, checkbooks coming out. But like passports and Social Security cards, they're all gone.
Yeah, you'll need to contact the Social Security Administration and get that sorted out and let them know what's going on. But outside of that, the main issue is going to be the financial piece of this. And so if you've got a freeze on your credit report with all 3 credit bureaus, you said you've done that?
No, I haven't done that piece yet. So that's kind of next. I was curious if that is something we should take as a step, obviously.
That's very important because the number one thing that's going to happen is they're going to try to create new accounts with your identity. And I've had this happen to me, and so I can tell you from personal experience, not the home invasion part, but the identity theft part, and people are creating accounts with my Social Security number, old addresses, and so putting a freeze on those credit bureaus will stop those from happening. Have you filed a police report, I'm guessing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got that done. And they actually caught somebody, but there were several involved.
Oh, that's great.
One person in custody. Yeah, it is great.
Well, it'll be great to get some of those documents back, too, if they can get those.
George, did you go directly to the Bureau website, or how did you do that?
Yes. Go to each of the websites, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and you can start that process. And on top of the police report and freezing all of your credit with all the bureaus, file a report with the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC. You can do that on their website as well to notify them.
Okay. Good.
And then, of course, you're going to be diligently checking bank and any kind of card statements. Obviously, you're going to want new cards, new accounts. I would just go through that whole process to be safe. And do you have any debt?
Well, that's not true. We have a little mortgage.
Okay. I just want to make sure there wasn't debt floating out there as well, because you'd want to get any of the fraudulent account records from debt collectors. And you've already contacted your bank. Do you have more than one bank?
We do.
Okay.
Yep, we've contacted all of them.
And then your utility providers, you'd want to contact them as well.
Okay.
And then, of course, passwords and usernames, which that one may be the most frustrating because you don't even remember the passwords to half this stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
But that's the A1, because if they get in your email, that's a whole nother situation.
Okay.
So I've got a resource for you at Ramsey Solutions on what to do if your identity is stolen. If you search those words, you'll find it on there. It's about a 14-minute listen. You can hear me read it, or you can just read it yourself. But that'll go through all of that. We just had to fly through it on air for sake of radio time. But, man, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Scott. That's such a hassle.
And for the future, today, I would go check out our friends at Xander. They have ID theft protection. Luckily, when I had this happen to me, I had just started working at Ramsey, and I contacted them, and they were, on my behalf, were cleaning up this mess for me, because it can take dozens and dozens and dozens of hours just to mess with
it. It's like a part-time job, because there's so many angles, there's so many things. So I'm so sorry, Scott.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's a real nightmare, but we'll get through it.
Yep,
I appreciate
you will.
the insight and advice.
Absolutely. Hope that helps.
Man, that's such a tough situation. Just heartbreaking.
So hard.
Especially with home invasion. Identity theft alone is frustrating and scary, but a home invasion is way too personal.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Do you guys have a lot of like cameras? Are you one of those family? I'm sure Winston is, because he's a big privacy nerd.
Oh, he loves his technology. So we got 3 different types of cameras, George. From like internet-based, not internet-based.
Like it's the Wi-Fi goes down. This one kicks in.
We got it all, the bases covered.
Producer James loves that. He's big on this stuff. James isn't even his real name. We don't even know. This man is so good. But me and James do talk privacy a lot. I'm like, I got a leg in it because I'm interested and I love the technology.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with this stuff, and it's not fun.
Yes, I've never dealt with a home invasion. So
sure, I've never had that. Happen. But
there's only so much you can do, and that's what's scary too. Is like, I mean, so you have the camera, so maybe you can kind of catch the people, but what else are you gonna do?
Other than alarm systems that trigger and call the security, it's just a fact of life, unfortunately. But there are a lot of things you can do to protect yourself, especially on the financial side.
Right, on the logistical side of, all that, for sure.
Oh,
but
Scott, buddy, I'm hoping the best for you to clean this up as quickly as possible. Get ID theft protection today, people, from our friends at Xander. It is super, super cheap. It'll protect your entire family, and it is so, so worth it. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to everyone in the booth, Austin and Ben and Zach and James and Andrew, whoever's in there, who knows, Nathan, and of course you, America. We appreciate you listening. And Jade, fellow Ramsey personality. We'll be back with you before you know it.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Campbell, joined by Rachel Cruz, and we are excited to take your calls this hour. 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Alex is kicking us off in St. Louis. Alex, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at being a first-time home buyer here at the end of the year, and I'm trying to figure out how to choose the right lender. And in my search for the right lender, my local credit union gave me a different option I wasn't really expecting. where instead of PMI, they would add interest rate, a small amount of interest to the interest rate of the mortgage loan. And I'm not really sure if that's working.
I don't like the sound of that. Are they talking about mortgage points?
The way they phrased it was instead of having PMI, if you're between 5 and 10% down payment, they would add a quarter point to the interest rate. And if it's 10 to 20% down payment, it would be 0.1% to the interest rate.
Well, are you in a place financially to buy a house?
I am debt-free as of March, following Dave Ramsey's financial theories.
Awesome.
And since then, I've been saving up. I have about $20,000 saved up for closing and down payment costs. It's not quite 20%, but my housing situation is changing early next year. So I figured this would be a good time to accelerate things and just go ahead and bite the bullet.
Okay. Well, the issue with the PMI I'm seeing is PMI would go away once you have enough equity in the home, whereas this added to your interest rate would just be there forever.
I could refinance it, they said, after that 20%, but
you could, but it would then incur more closing costs.
Or not. Fair enough.
So I don't see that as a good option. I would still shop around. I mean, obviously, our friends at Churchill Mortgage are going to treat you well, and so that's a good starting point. If you want to see they'll give you the whole rundown on the sheet of here's every single fee involved. They'll walk you through it, and they have the heart of a teacher over there, and they'll make sure you understand what every single line means.
Okay.
So as far as picking a lender, I mean, at the end of the day, it is about the numbers, but it's also about the customer service, how they treat you, how they educate you, how they walk with you along the journey. And I've had an amazing experience personally with Churchill, and I learned a ton in the process too.
Yeah, they're there to definitely answer your questions. So yeah, you want someone that's, willing to teach you and to understand exactly what's happening. So yeah, the added percentage to the interest rate, all that, I'm kind of with George where I'm like, man, are you able to put 10% down, Alex, did you say, or 5?
It would be close to 10. I could probably make 10 work. Depends on the final cost of the house.
Sure.
And
okay.
is this on a 30-year or a 15?
A 15-year fixed rate.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome. That's great, Alex. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, you've done the hard work at this point. So yeah, I think it's just picking a lender that we always say whenever you're making a big decision, whether it's like with investing or helping, someone with your taxes or insurance or mortgages, like these big areas of our money, making sure that someone has the heart of a teacher, that, you don't feel like slimy by or anything, that you just actually like the person and the math works, right? So like both are the win, and that's what Churchill really does provide, like George was saying. But yeah, shop around, look at the math. But yeah, the credit union deal, I would run the numbers on what it would be for PMI. But then yeah, if you have to go and refinance, like you're saying, you're going to have to pay closing costs, and we don't know what even the mortgage rates are going to be at that point. I don't know. It just I would just do the 15-year fix with the PMI and be able to get to that 20%, and then that will go away.
Thanks for the call, Alex. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations, first-time homeowner and everything. It's great.
It's a big step in adulthood, for sure. All right, Shannon is up next in Idaho Falls. Shannon, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys so much for taking my call.
Yeah, happy to take it. What's going on?
I have a couple of questions. So I recently became a stay-at-home mom, and I am needing to roll over my 401k from my last employer. I know right now with the market, you don't want to take anything out because it's low. You want to ride it. But I don't know if that counts for waiting on a 401k rollover, if it's going to make any difference if I wait a little bit, or do I just go with it and just get it rolled over, even though it's a lot less than it was 6 months ago?
Yeah, I would go ahead and roll it over to a traditional IRA, Shannon, out of your company, and just have it in there, and you write it out. So yeah, definitely don't cash it out. And I would not leave it in your company. I would roll it over just to a traditional IRA. So the strings are cut. It's just you and that money, and you're just going to ride the roller coaster for the next few decades.
Yeah, and this was a traditional 401k that you had?
It was a Roth.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
401k.
So you could do a direct rollover into a Roth IRA without any penalties.
Which is, I would do that
so
for
that's
sure.
great. And you can contact a SmartVestor Pro on our website, and they can walk you through that process. I did that with an old 401k from a previous employer when I started here, and they made it super simple. And so now it's just sitting there, and it's in my control, and you have way more options. So I like that plan. Did you have another question as well?
Yes, my husband is self-employed, and technically I am as well because we own it 50-50. I do have a Roth IRA that we're doing for him, and so obviously I need to start doing that. One thing I wasn't 100% sure of is how do you decide what 15% of your monthly income is when you're self-employed and all of the expenses are different, and we're debt free. We own our house outright. We've followed all of those steps, but I don't know how to decide what the exact amount is that we should be investing every month for the 15%.
Well, I would be looking at the business and your personal as two different entities, if you will. And so out of the business, you guys have to decide, hey, what's the salary we're going to pay ourselves, or what's a commission, a percentage of the net profit that we have that we're going to pay. So you kind of need a formula for you guys of what you're going to consistently pay yourselves so that you know. And again, it can be commission-based percentage-wise, or it can just be a flat salary that sounds good, that works with the business. But I would make it a very clean transfer, meaning like, hey, we've decided this amount, so we know that it's this percentage of the net revenues or this salary, and it's that consistent so that you have the ability to say, okay, we know exactly what the take-home pay is. Because sometimes with a small business, those things are merged so often, and we want to separate those to make it very, very clear of what's in the business and what are we paying out of the business. But you guys own it, so you get to decide. So you don't want to overpay yourselves because that'll harm the business, but you also don't want to underpay yourself because you wouldn't do that if you're working somewhere else.
Yeah. And with a regular income, we're just going to invest 15% of what that month's income was. Maybe this month is $3,000, next month is $4,000. But at the end of the year, you will still have invested 15% of your total income. So way to go. Congratulations on this new season that you're in, being a stay-at-home mom and the success of this business. We're cheering you on. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. This is your show, America. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. Friendly reminder, now that fall break is hitting here in across the country, you can come visit us at our headquarters right here south of Nashville, Tennessee. We've had a great time coming out about 2 times an hour, meeting folks from all around here and their stories. We've got free cookies, free coffee. We've got free mugs. Pretty much everything's free except for the bookstore. You can purchase products as well. And there's a cool timeline wall, kind of the Ramsey Museum, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, I guess
and
so.
It's a really cool headquarters, and Nashville's a great city, so come visit us. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why they're the #1 online retailer of custom window covering. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Mark in New Jersey. Last year, my wife and I made over $310,000, and this year we've made $250,000. But we have still little to no savings. Last night, I decided to finally dig into it. What I came up with after doing this is that there was about $120,000 blown on who knows what. This was a team effort that I think we equally contributed to. Every time I have a conversation with my wife about money, it seems to end up being a fight. She's a very rational person, so I'm sure it's the way I'm approaching it. How do I bring it up without causing a huge fight and allowing us to make a massive change?
Wow.
It's a good question, Mark.
I love that he was like, I'm going to investigate. All right. Turns out we blew 120 grand on I have no clue what.
I don't know what.
Just stuff.
Man.
That's what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would start the conversation with, I think in a humble way, Mark. I think there's always something, with the humility side of like, man, I have contributed to this, which you've already admitted. And I've messed this up too. Like I have not done a great job communicating with you. I haven't done a great job staying on top of our money and making this a priority. So I'm sorry. Like there's just a level of humility there.
And accountability.
That I think is a really beautiful way to approach it. It's very disarming when you do that and you kind of own your own stuff and you have this level of like, I didn't get it right. And then obviously not letting her, just run off and be like,
wow,
yeah, that's
sounds
fine.
like you really messed up.
Yeah, I mean, like, letting it start to be a conversation, though, of like, okay, so what do we want this to look like now? What do we as a team want to look and have a vision for our marriage? And what are our goals? What are we wanting to do? Because you make great income, like you're saying, and to be able to say, man, let's just take this further and do it on purpose. It's okay to still spend money. That's the one thing that people think the Ramsey plan is like, you can't spend any money. No, you can. Once you don't have debt and you have an emergency fund, you've taken care of what you need to take care of, you can spend money and enjoy. So it's, I think it's having that conversation of like, hey, what does this look like for us? And let's still enjoy our lives, but let's do it on purpose with intentionality.
Amen. Rachel, I wish you could just have that conversation for
us. That's right.
But you know what?
Mark,
we can't.
I can do it for you. No.
But what this comes down to is not going, we have to get on budget today and you're really screwing this up. It starts with that vision where you go, hey, what are our goals for the year? Because I feel like we've been floating and we have nothing to show for it. We make amazing money, more than we ever thought we would. And here we are with nothing in the bank. And it's all just stuff and food and shopping. And I feel like I've done a terrible job leading us in that way. And so I want to set some goals in our life. And once you set those goals, well, now we have to make changes and change some habits in order to actually achieve those goals.
Yeah.
And one of those is we got to get on a budget.
Yeah.
And not to, constrict us, but to give us freedom so that when we do spend, we do it with confidence, with no regret, and we're not derailing our goals.
That's right.
Now it's a different conversation.
No regrets, right, John?
No regrets, which we mentioned that in Smart Money Happy Hour. I explained to Rachel. I said it was an internet meme. It's beyond that, of course. It's a scene from We're the Millers, and Rachel was like,
it's a great
say
one.
What now?
It's a great one.
It's a great clip. Go check that out. So thank you for the question, Mark. This is not going to be easy, but man, it's going to be worth it. And I think if you approach it with that humility and accountability, it will go a long, long way. All right, Bridget joins us up next on the phones in Philadelphia. Bridget, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. What's going on?
Well, so I'm in about $18,000 worth of debt. I only make about $2,200 a month, and I can pay all my bills, including my minimum payments for my credit cards, which is fantastic. However, per month, so I make about $2,200, and my bills in total are about $1,150 or so. Every single month, I take out about $600 in just plain cash from my cash wallet, so I don't spend any extra money. And I have about $450 remaining. So my question is, should I put all of that extra money into credit card payments, or should I save some of that money to add to my savings? Because I only have a little over $1,000 in savings. But my problem is I don't have any extra money for like car maintenance, or even just like yearly things like car registration and things like that. So I'm not really sure what to do with that extra cash that I have.
Great question. And you've been doing a great job paying attention to your money, knowing exactly what you have, doing the envelope system. So you're on a roll here. And it's a great question when it comes to those kind of yearly maintenance expenses. And we would label those as sinking funds in your budget, to where you would add $10 a month. So at the end of the year, you have $120 to pay your car registration.
Okay, absolutely. So that's something. I actually have binders for that. I just haven't actually contributed the money towards that. So I have everything prepared. I just haven't actually gotten to that point. So that's helpful, because I do worry that I'm not going to have the money to be able to do those things. And it's great to have an emergency fund, but sometimes I look at the emergency fund as like a true emergency, not something that I should have been planning for.
For sure. Bridget, what do you do for a living?
Well, so I'm actually a supervisor for a call center for one of the state professional licensing departments.
Okay.
So for doctors, nurses, et cetera.
Okay, that's great. Because I'm just looking at your income, and it's coming out to about $26,000 a year. Does that sound about right?
Oh yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying that the way to look at money is it flows two ways. It flows in and it flows out. And that flowing in part, your income, it's a part of the equation just to look at and factor into. And there's obviously something to be said about a wonderful work environment and enjoying what you do, having joy in it, all of that. But also you want to make sure that it's paying you and that you can get ahead financially. Because, living in Philadelphia, I'm sure that, it's
expensive.
It's an expensive part of the country
Even in the
as well.
outskirts.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. Have you thought about maybe shifting jobs because you can make double that, I would think, somewhere else. Maybe not doing exactly the same thing, but any type of job.
Have you looked at other leadership and supervisor roles that you could apply for?
Well, so in terms of a job, no. However, I am looking into going to school for something in computer science. My mother is absolutely wonderful and offered to pay for my schooling.
That's a gift. Yeah, that's great.
So I am thinking about doing that so that I can get more money, because I know I'm making enough to pay my bills, but I'm not making enough to pay them off completely and to really just enjoy living and saving and things of that nature.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I mean, that would be something I would consider too, because again, it's just half of the equation to get you even just further to pay off this $18,000. But yeah, so besides the sinking funds, that extra $450 a month, I would for sure stay current on all of your payments. And then anything extra you have, be throwing it at that smallest debt, whether it's a credit card or whatever it may be. So, but again, getting that income up, I think, is going to really help you put gas on this.
And in
which
the
I think is
meantime,
huge.
it may look like side hustles and, food delivery, grocery delivery, you name it. There's a lot of things out there you could do. I mean, even the call center world, customer service, there's things you can do nights and weekends to increase income for now. But that's going to really make you feel some progress with this debt-free journey. Because right now, you're just chipping away at it. And I want you to take a sledgehammer to that thing.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. If you have that same motivation, the exact same attitude you have, but having more money and dollar signs on top of it, you're going to get through it so much faster.
Yeah.
Deep sacrifice for a short period of time. It is so worth it.
Thanks for the call, Bridget. This is The Ramsey Show. Well, it's no secret we love talking money around here, but we know not everyone feels that way. And that's why Rachel Cruz and myself started thinking about what it would be like to talk money for those who would just rather have some fun. And so we decided we can mix the two. We can make money fun again, Rachel. So last week, we launched our new Ramsey podcast called Smart Money Happy Hour, where Rachel and I dig into the stuff you and your friends would talk about, or you wish they would talk about, at a weekly happy hour. Things like pop culture, what's going on in the world, and how to afford a life you love. It's fun, casual money advice that will make you feel less stressed and more in control of your money. Plus, there are some hilarious moments that you do not want to miss. We promise you'll also walk away learning something. This week's episode dropped today. It's all about Disney adults, Disney trauma, and why they priced out the middle class. And I take the brunt of it on the trauma part, Rachel. I was very honest with my Disney trauma. You'll have to listen in to figure out what happened there. So if you love Disney, hate Disney, this episode is for you. It's wildly entertaining. Go ahead and follow or subscribe to Smart Money Happy Hour wherever you listen to podcasts. New episodes come out every Thursday, and you won't miss one if you hit that follow button. Check it out. All right, Bill joins us up next in Dayton, Ohio. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Thanks for taking my call. Hey, so I got my dream job, remote job, a couple months ago, and so now I get to leave cold Florida and move to cold Ohio. I'm sorry, and move to Florida.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've been doing some house hunting. I've got a contract on my paid-for home here in Ohio, and everything that kind of seems to fit my what I want down there is around the $700,000 mark. So I'm going to get about $289 from my current house, and I've got about $335 in the bank.
Way to go!
So that puts me at like $626. So I'm going to have to get a small mortgage because I don't want to put it all down. So the reason I'm calling is to try to figure out how much should I keep in my emergency fund, and how much should I put down on the house. So I make about $215K a year, and 65 of that's from military retirement. So it's passive income.
Cool. And will that change once you're in Florida?
No.
Okay.
Same income. Well, it'll drop a little bit. The income will drop about $4,000 a year just because of the locality.
So what is your monthly expenses to cover all of the normal bills, maybe a few of the subscriptions, some of those luxuries? What would it take to cover 1 month?
Yeah, so I figured that out yesterday driving back, and it comes out to about $2,400 a month.
Okay. And are you married, Bill, kids?
Grown kids and single right now with a great girlfriend.
Okay. So it comes out to about $6,200.
I would go for 6 months if I'm in your shoes.
Yeah, I think I'd put probably 10 down. Because you are single, you don't have kids, all of that. I think
you have a great income. So if an emergency came up, you could cash flow
a lot. So I would probably just hold 10, Bill, for an emergency fund. And then put the I would, and then put the rest towards this mortgage, which is amazing. Well done, Bill. This is pretty incredible that you're able to do this.
Yeah, I'm happy to be a Ramsey success story. So.
Oh, that's awesome! Absolutely incredible. Do you have anything in retirement?
Oh yeah, I've got probably another $800,000 in retirement.
Oh my gosh,
fund.
yeah. So you're an everyday millionaire.
Crushing it.
Yes, ma'am.
Baby steps millionaire. Well done.
We love to hear it.
Well done, Bill.
Well, Bill, the other truth is that if your expenses go up, you could easily save another $5,000 in there within a month or two with your income.
Yeah, that's true. In Florida, if it is more worth. Yep.
Once you get over there, and if you feel a little bit insecure about the emergency fund, just go up to that 6 months, which would be closer to 15, and call it a day. But you're in a great spot, man. Thanks for the call. All right, coming up, we've got Digger in Greenville, South Carolina. Digger, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I am a public school teacher, and I make about $66,000 a year. I've had a couple of bumps in the road over the last couple of years, and my real question is: I've got the $1,000 in my savings, the emergency fund, and I don't have a whole lot extra per month to throw at my debt, and my employer won't let me stop contributing to my retirement. They're mandating that I can't opt out, and I have to give 9% to it every month.
That's the minimum, is 9%?
So I'm wondering if I'm sorry?
Is the minimum 9%?
Yeah, that I have to give 9%.
Okay. And this is slowing down your debt-free journey?
I'm not. I mean, I really want to go at this and get my debt gone, but it just seems like I don't have enough to really put a significant dent in anything.
How much debt do you have?
South Carolina has, I owe back taxes of $4,100. My car loan is $6,700. The federal government wants $12,100, and my credit card is $18,000.
What do you mean by federal government?
Is that taxes?
I
IRS?
sold a house. I sold a house and didn't save enough back for the taxes I would owe on the profit, and so I'm still paying off.
So you owe about over $16 total to the IRS.
Well, South Carolina wants $4,100 and the feds want $12,100. So together it's like $16,200.
Okay. And any other debt besides that and the car loan?
Credit cards.
Credit cards, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have a great income. It stinks that they're mandating this 9%. It does slow you down because that 9% could have been going towards your debt. But is there any way you could increase your income?
$700. I'm sorry?
So how can we make up for that $700 through working more? Could you tutor, substitute teach, do side hustles in order to create $700 a month to speed up this process?
Well, I can't. I mean, my job is 7 to 4 every day, and I can't substitute. And tutoring is not really an option here. It's a very rural community that I live in, so it's not something like that. I was thinking of getting a second job or something like that.
You could do weekends.
I heard you say something about CSRs or something like that, where I could work from home, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, looking at this, Digger, I mean, you said that you've had some bumps in the road and stuff, and so it's probably been a long journey for you, and you're probably exhausted, feeling like I should be further along than I am, and so I'm sure there's just frustration and annoyance of even these taxes. I mean, all of it, right? It's not fun to look at these numbers, and you're not like, oh man. But there's also
5 years ago, I owned my own home and I had zero debt, and then I lost my job for 14 months due to a hostile work environment, and that's where the credit card went to $18,000, and then I finally found out about the taxes from the federal government and the state. Kind of all hit me all at once, and I bought a car, believing I was going to work at my place. I mean, I love what I do, but just everything hit me at once, and that's what. But I was ready to do the pay off the house or the the live debt free and all that stuff, and then I just got nailed with $40,000 worth of debt.
I'm so sorry.
It's really hard to stay positive.
Yeah.
Because I'm single and I'm 50 and.
Yep. Yeah, totally. I hear you, and it feels like it's that season of life where it's like something goes wrong, everything goes wrong. We kind of laugh and say when Murphy hits, it's like his brother and his other brother move in with you, right? And it's just like, oh my God, does life just keep kicking me when I'm down? And it's that feeling. But you know what? We've seen numbers just like this before on the debt-free stage, and they do it, and it's going to take some time. But I want you to map it out and say, hey, if I took a weekend job, how much do I need to make, and how long would it take me to pay this off? And when you have facts in front of you too, it takes the emotion out and it helps you stay motivated. So hang on the line. We're going to give you Total Money Makeover, one of the best books to help you get remotivated in all of this. And you can do this, Digger. You can do this.
Our scripture of the day, Philippians 2:4. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Chris Pratt said, I'm a man of faith, and I believe that God works in mysterious ways and gives us signs and gifts in life. And those gifts oftentimes come in the form of people.
Oh,
that's
George,
nice. That's
you're
sweet.
a gift to my life.
Wow. Look at that.
How do you feel about that?
I didn't know we were going there, but I really appreciate
you're a
that.
Gift. Yes.
Thank you.
Nice friendship we have here.
James never says that to me. So,
James, are we a gift in your life?
Totally are.
Oh,
he's
so
a great
glad.
actor. Chris Pratt and James, both great actors. All right. I'm George Camel. She's Rachel Cruz. This is The Ramsey Show. 888-825-5225. Alex joins us up next in Virginia Beach. Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah. How can we help today?
Yes. I'm 24 years old. I recently graduated college, and I've always been forward-thinking, so I'm trying to save money as a down payment for a house.
Awesome.
But I have this addiction of investing, and with the market going down month over month, I just can't stop transferring money to my brokerage account and buying index funds. And so for like a year now, my savings account / emergency fund / down payment for a house has really just stayed at like between 6,000 and 8,000. But my investing account has grown quite a bit.
Cool. And so what's your question for us today?
Is there a behavior, an emotional idea, like a concept I can change about how I'm thinking about this to stop the investing, or like a mathematical reason I should save cash instead of enabling and buying these dips every 2 weeks or so, and just get on the wagon and start increasing this security deposit?
Well, I think part of the problem is math is what got us into this thing, because you were looking at the investment going, well, I can make way more money in the market than it's sitting in a bank account, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, over time.
And you're excited to like buy low. Is that what's happening too? It's like this exciting game to you.
Yeah, especially right now. It's down 20% year to date, 25% since January.
Yep.
Really.
Well, when do you want to buy a house?
Probably at least a year from now.
Okay.
Or maybe closer to 3, because I'm just a single guy right now, so I don't feel like a 2-bedroom house would be necessary, and condos aren't really appealing. So I would prefer 3 or more years from now, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think, Alex, there's something I'm just curious of I understand that, like, man, it's kind of this game and it's kind of exciting in a weird way because the market is down and you're like, oh my gosh, I can put money in here. And then if it goes up here, I'm going to make this much more. And there's like a kind of this adrenaline feeling that you're doing, and you're not doing anything dangerous. I mean, you're buying index funds, but a lot of our long-term strategy with investing is to be like, okay, we're going to just ride it out and have a steady plan of investing 15% of our income and kind of just staying with that instead of playing this game that it's like an emotional thing for you to do. And again, it's not terrible. You're not like going and buying all these, single stocks and all of that. I mean, the index fund, it's
you're not going to
fine.
Vegas here. You're not blowing the money. You're doing too much of a good thing and it's turning into a bad thing.
Yeah.
And so I would refocus it on those goals that you have, which is I want to buy a house, and in 3 years from now, I don't want to look up and I have the same number in my portfolio because the market kept dipping up and down, which is why we say, hey, if you got a short time horizon, don't invest. If you're going to be purchasing a home in the next 3 years, put it in a high-yield savings account. And the point is not for the money to grow. The point is to protect what you're trying to grow in that savings account.
Yeah, so I think, Alex, if you had more of a time frame with buying a house, because I feel like you're a goal-oriented person, and so shooting for something tangible is motivating, and I just don't feel like you have that right now, right? Because you're like, I could buy a house in a year, it could be 3 years. So you don't have this big why to keep money. I mean, I don't want you to drain an emergency fund by any means, but you almost need to figure out a new goal for you, and I don't know if it's just a dollar amount. And maybe you direct that dollar amount towards a down payment later down the road. But like my husband is like this, Alex. He is a numbers guy. He's like, at the end of the year, I want X amount in the money market account that I can see. And it's like, that's motivating for him. And for me, I'm like, I want to know the why. What are we going to do with that? Are we going to go on vacation with it? Is it going to just sit there? If it sits there, that's great. I just need to know what we're doing with it. So I don't know if it's a number for you. That's kind of more of a fun game to say, hey, I want to put this much away by the end of 2023 and not touch it and have the discipline not to just throw it in the market, but kind of create that own game you're playing in the index fund world. Play that somewhere else, but you can still have that motivation to still hit these numbers and this goal, because that's a fun part of money too.
Oh, yeah. And Alex, you're completely debt-free with an emergency fund?
I have a $4,000 car debt that I'm paying my dad because he sold it to me at 0% interest. But that's it. So $4,000 for a car.
Oh, there's your new goal.
Debt, and pay that off as soon as possible.
Oh, for sure. Especially since your dad's holding the loan. Ugh, just get
That makes Thanksgiving awkward. So,
Right.
Do you enjoy money? Do you spend it?
I've had to learn to flex that muscle, the spending muscle. But yeah, I've given myself $100, sometimes $150 every week for whatever I want, eating out, going to the movies, things like that, just miscellaneous spending.
What's your income?
$45 an hour. I think that is $93,000 a year.
Awesome.
But that's another thing that's pushing me into the saving cash direction. I'm a contracted software developer, and they let me know my contract will likely not be extended in January. So I know I'm losing my job in January, and I'm doing some things to fix that. Right, I'm speaking with the recruiter, and my current boss would happily give me a referral, but that also is partially why I call too, because I really do need to save up cash if I hypothetically can't get a job the second I leave my current one.
Yeah, for sure. And I would try to have something lined up. Thankfully, you're in a great career space, though. I mean, you're going to make great money, and there's a need for what you do. So I don't think you'll have a big issue finding a job. But that's exactly right? So like all this kind of stuff, this life situations that you're in, from the debt to the job. I mean, that needs to be your motivator to be like, man, I got to hit this dollar amount in order for me to feel good about that transition out of my job.
And Rachel, we talk about this all the time on the show. There's only 3 things you can do with money: give, save, and spend.
Yep.
And sometimes usually we're leaning into the saving, like Alex, or we're leaning into the spending. And sometimes when you release it through giving, it just changes your outlook on money. And if you're saving too much, enjoy some of it and do something fun to remind you that money is a tool. And when we do just one thing, it kind of gives us a blurry picture of what this money was meant for.
That's a great point, George. Yeah. So even Alex, I mean, that generosity piece too, I think is a very, very important one. So be giving something, practice building that muscle as well. The saving one, like you got down, but be more focused intentionally on what you're saving for and have a purpose and a why behind the savings, which could help you not feel like you're just like, oh gosh, playing this market kind of game.
Yeah. And joy can come from all 3 things. From saving, it can give you some great peace and joy. From spending, we can have joy in incredible experiences and buying some fun things. But giving, man, there are some, that joy surpasses both of those combined. And so just practice those 3 things in moderation, and I think that will help give you a more healthy relationship with your money. But you're doing great. I mean, this is a great spot
Alex.
to be in at 24, making $93K, and he's got that savings muscle down. And so we just need to flex some of the other muscles, because I skipped leg day for, 33 years running now. And this is what you get. You fit into skinny jeans, people, when you skip leg day for 33 years.
George.
I'll get there, Rachel. Winston's going to start working out with me, right?
That's right.
It looks like a Ken doll. He's crushing the game. Well,
it's very strapping.
That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to my co-host Rachel Cruz and all the folks in the booth for keeping the show afloat, and to you, America. We thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, subscribe, and let other people know about this. We love to impact more and more people. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Until next time, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.